Welcome Sagittarius to your November 2019 reading. I'm Jenny Florence. Guys, we're going to be drawing from the runes first in this reading. It's a big monthly reading. We'll be drawing from the Astrology Cards too, one of the tarot packs, and then from many other packs depending on the guidance that I receive during the reading. Welcome back, guys, to those of you who are already part of this wonderful community that we're building here. It's magic to listen to the way you guys support each other, share your journeys, connect in with me. It really is lovely. I'm getting to know so many of you. As I said, it's magic. So thank you so much for your comments, your feedback, and for subscribing, because that really helps to maintain the channel for me to keep it going and to continue to put free resources into the world. For anyone new to the channel, I do put a lot of free stuff into the world. I'm really dedicated to helping people navigate their journeys from a place of empowerment and awareness. So that actually includes, I offer a free private reading to one of my subscribers every month. So guys, do check out the information box below. All of the details of that kind of stuff is there if that's anything, if additional resources and things interest you, or indeed the potential to win a free private reading. Guys, let's dive into this reading. We're going to do the runes first. Powerful energy around. Today is the 31st. I'm actually doing this reading today. Mercury is now in retrograde and will remain in retrograde until the 20th, 19th, 20th, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, there's been a lot of powerful energy with the new moon in Scorpio on Monday, directly opposite Uranus, the Great Awakener, the planet of sudden and unexpected changes, I think, alongside the Mercury retrograde. It's been a very powerful kind of week for a lot of people. So guys, let's connect in with our runes. Okay, our first rune, we have the Rune of Strength. This is interesting. This rune has come up in several of the readings. Very powerful energy around. It doesn't really surprise me of its energy, terminations and new beginnings. It says the life you've been living has outgrown its form, or some aspect. It doesn't mean your entire life is going to be overthrown. For some of you, it could mean very new and real opportunities that are very different. But for a lot of us, it may just mean an aspect of life, or a belief system, or a way of being, something. But some aspect within our lives has outgrown its form, and we are asked and invited not to resist that change. That's the real key here. Sometimes it speaks of this rune of opportunity disguised as loss, and that's very much in attunement with the new moon in Scorpio. New moons are a wonderful time to set intentions. For those of you that follow my readings or are interested in astrology and working with the natural cycles of energy that impact and influence us, you'll know that the new moon in Scorpio, it has a flavour within it, not just of setting intentions in terms of what we wish to bring into our future, but also of setting an intention to let go of anything, especially the deep, dark, unconscious aspects of ourselves that may be blocking us from receiving, blocking us from manifesting the life that we wish to, create for ourselves. So don't resist the changes, guys. That's what this rune is really saying. It's going to be an interesting month, November, I think, for so many of us. Okay. We have two runes that have now come out. We have the Rune of the Warrior, and we have the Rune of Fertility. Again, new beginnings. This rune also speaks of completion of beginnings. There's a need to finish something up. It's kind of like if you're finishing a project, you need to kind of wrap it up before you move on to the next chapter, even if you feel a calling to do something different. It's kind of like cross the T's, dot the I's. Sometimes it can be the resolution of a difficult state of mind, but something again is coming to an end, very much in alignment with the Rune of strength, terminations and new beginnings. So something needs to actually be completed. It's not just an ending of something. It is literally something that has to be, that a resolution almost is found within this rune, I think, the energy of this. Now, the warrior is fascinating because the warrior asks you to align yourself with yourself. And what that kind of means is it's asking you to align yourself with your higher self. It's kind of walking that pathway of the spiritual warrior. It also says don't be attached to outcomes. So if you're working into something new, again, it also says cut away the old, be discerning, let things go if they no longer serve you. Literally get out of your own way almost. Recognise that the universe has the upper hand. If the universe has intentions for us, or the universe is bringing us signs so that we may become more connected and attuned with our true calling, lead a life that is more connected and attuned at a level of soul, then this rune is actually suggesting that you need to remove any resistance to that. Align yourself with yourself. It's aligning yourself with your deeper self rather than the ego self. So really powerful combination of runes here. And we are now going to draw the next one. Okay, gorgeous rune. We have the Rune of Joy. This suggests that actually you have aligned yourself with yourself. You have aligned yourself with your deeper knowing. It is like a return to self, a return home. It's out of darkness into light. It's new energy. The soul is illuminated from within. New clarity. Sometimes again it says we need to renounce existing plans. We need to start something new, start something fresh, let go of something. Again, it sort of asks you again, it's sort of got an energy, I want to say almost of take no prisoners, but I don't mean it in any kind of negative or forceful way. It's more of an allowing yourself to be actively engaged in, I want to say following your heart. Allow your heart to take precedence, the intelligence of your heart to take a precedence over the intelligence of your mind. Now, I don't mean your mindful mind, you know, your intuition, your higher knowing, your higher self. I'm talking about the ego mind, the way that we interpret things, the way that we perceive things, the way that we actually often limit our own horizons through a lack of clarity. Very powerful, guys. Let's see what the cards are going to bring up. I'm always fascinated to do the Sagittarius reading because I am a Sagittarian. Some of you who follow my readings will know that. It is rather strange though, as any reader will tell you, to some extent. I mean, we really are just a channel for information. That's what happens when we read. I actually have to afterwards go back and listen to it again because I don't remember what I have said during the reading because I'm just sort of in it and doing it. I mean, sometimes I catch glimpses of almost myself, a bit like lucid dreaming. It's like lucid reading where you think, oh, that's interesting, that's so relevant to me. But then at the same time, you have to let that go in order to allow, literally to be a channel for the information that comes through. It's very fascinating. I have to go over and look at my own readings. It always makes me kind of chuckle a little bit. Okay, wow, 11th house, friends. Okay, so there's going to be some relevance here in terms of friendship. We'll gain more insight into this from drawing other cards. And again, messages do come through as we draw the cards. And we have the card of Chiron, healing. Now that does make sense to me already with the energy of the runes. Some aspect of healing that's needing to take place. I'm just going to move these tarot cards out of the way because we're going to be drawing several of the astrology here. Ooh. Aquarius. We have the card of Aquarius, I know. Drawing one more. desire. Very lovely energy, guys. I hope those cards are all in view of the camera. I think they are, so that's good. I think we're going to gain some additional clarity. But the 11th house of friends, followed by Chiron, healing, Aquarius, I know, and fire element, desire. This for me tunes in with the natural flow through the month of the energy that the runes are highlighting for us. With runes, we always read right to left, cards left to right. I think there is a process. It may even be within friendship that you gain some kind of an awakening or something comes to your attention. But one way or the other, there is a process that takes place this month that allows some aspect of you to heal, some aspect of you to find completion and to move beyond. You gain clarity. This really is out of darkness into light. Very lovely energy here. And you are able to connect to your truest desires. You're able to connect to, it really is the things that you desire at a level of soul. I want to say prioritize. That's what I'm really hearing that's coming through. I don't know whether your priorities change in some way. Completions of beginnings. It may be for some of you guys that something fundamentally changes. It may be for others that it's more that you become clear. You begin to know what your priorities are. You're aware of the opportunity. Again, discernment. The word discernment comes in. Working out what your priorities are, where your true core values lie, and actually taking real fundamental steps within yourself to be in a space to kind of begin to manifest that in real terms. This is a real kind of, it sort of almost is like a travail of some sort. A difficult period comes to an end. Something, as I said, something finds completion, but there is a healing within that. Something gets laid to rest. I'll draw from the tarot now. Lovely card, guys, of victory. Coming through some kind of conflict and out the other side. I sometimes sort of say, you know, when we get this card, if you are facing challenges, literally take them one sword at a time. But this is really suggesting that you have, it's like you faced your own demons. You faced your own vulnerabilities. That's what I'm really hearing. There's something about uncovering something. Circumstances that are maybe quite difficult. Something is uncovered and it allows you to gain that clarity. But in the process of gaining clarity, you do put something down, and it's something that goes back a bit, I think. I mean, these are kind of demons that have haunted you, and I think you've kept them at bay in some way. You've had ways of coping that, in fairness, have served you very well. But more is going to happen here. There is more to this. You get to, there's a difference between creating management systems that allow us to navigate life from a much healthier position, as opposed to finding genuine inner healing, that inner peace that then becomes quite a consolidated sort of foundation on which you build a very different future, and I'm going to say a very empowered future. Much more awareness, much more conscious awareness of your choices. This is interesting because this card is suggesting that something will happen in your outside world. Some event will take place to cause this to happen, to cause you to see clearly. For some of you, it may be something that takes place within a friendship, within some kind of relationship. I'm going to draw some cards from one of the tarot packs that I use that has, it lets us know what kind of energy in terms of the people are, the people that are around you. So we'll check out and gain some clarity around this particular card as well. See if we can gain some insight into what it is that might actually happen. But guys, you get renewed energy, renewed vigour. I'm going to say somebody may even be coming into your life. Could be another fire sign. Either way, it's somebody who ignites your passions, I mean, in some ways, this is a very Aries energy. Interestingly enough, as a fire sign, we could say this could be a Sagittarian energy with the winged horse, the fire, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like someone is coming in. Someone comes in. I'm even going to say I think friends may even not come to the rescue as such, but I think you get support from friends. You get support from the people around you. It may be, I mean, Sagittarians, you know, guys, we are very independent, aren't we? You know, our freedom is important to us. But the danger of that is that sometimes we become so self-sufficient that we don't reach out and connect with the people who love us and want to support us. But of course, we have to learn to be discerning. Back to the runes again. So, yeah, I feel as though there is the energy of someone coming in who is, yeah, particularly, there's a lot of vitality, put it that way, around them. Okay, guys, we have the card of new relationships, new beginnings. Obviously, this is a generic reading, so it's going to, the energy really, which I tend to look at the readings from the perspective of the incoming energy. And the cards help us to understand how that dynamic is going to be working through the month. But actually, for some of you guys, this is a new beginning in relationship. It could be somebody new coming into your life that, as I said, they could be a fire sign, or they could literally ignite your passions. It could be a new phase in relationship as well. For some of you who are in existing relationships, it could be that your relationships get kind of like revitalized. That's probably a good way of describing it. Well, guys, again, the card of falling in love. So yeah, I am going to say revitalized in relationship. Guys, bearing in mind we have the new moon in Sagittarius on the 26th. I mean, you know, this is the Sagittarian new moon. We only have one new moon every year in each of our signs. And of course, as we come into the end of November, we're in Sagittarius season. So for me, this has a real beautiful flavour of the incoming astrological energy. The kind of stuff that's going on at the moment, Mercury in retrograde. Mercury invites us in retrograde to, it's not just a time of disruption and of changing plans, it's also an opportunity to look at anything, as I've said earlier, anything that we need to let go, setting intentions around the things that no longer serve us. Interestingly enough, in a Mercury retrograde position, we can sometimes, especially with the Pluto new moon as well, the Pluto new moon, the Scorpio new moon, but that's just it, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. We have this energy of endings and new beginnings. We have this energy of delving deep, going into the unconscious. There's an opportunity to look back, to make connections in terms of our past, to bring illumination to those areas of life where we have been acting unconsciously. And through that, we create healing. And when we are able to let go of certain things, when we see clearly, there is space within us to then really connect to the things that we desire. I'm going to say, guys, for some of you, for those of you looking for a relationship, this is very favourably suggesting that somebody is going to be coming into your world in some way and connecting with you. I'm actually now going to draw from the tarot pack that connects to the energy of the people that are around. In fact, I think what I'm going to do first is move these cards up. I'd like us to be able to kind of see as much of all of the cards as we can as we draw them. Space these along, because we are going to be drawing a lot of cards. Okay, we have the Counsellor, first card. And we have the card of Love. so much healing this month, but healing with new opportunities. This is proper completions and new beginnings. Ten of Water. Choice. Lovely energy here. And the Ace of Water. I'm going to say quite an emotional month, guys. Very powerful, deep emotions, but emotions that enable you to evaluate and make real choices. Again, choices made from the intelligence of your heart, from your intuition, from your I want to say your deeper knowing, your deeper inner knowing. So let's go through these cards now, one by one. So guys, first of all, we have the 12 of Water, the Counsellor. This is a person who is wise, empathic, objective. Now, this could be somebody around you who you can seek advice from, speak to. Some of you may even choose to see a counsellor, but one way or the other, the energy of someone, either someone around you or of you yourself, is that you are asked to really connect in with compassion, to see the wisdom from and the learning from every situation, to look beyond the obvious, look beyond the words, again, look beyond any kind of aspect of ego self and connect to your emotions. I would also say I'm wanting to differentiate here between what I would call the emotions that surface within us that are a response to history, so the emotions that are connected to maybe difficult experiences in the past. We can feel very passionate about stuff. We can get very fired up, or someone can remind us of something, or if someone behaves badly, they press our buttons. And those are not the emotions that I'm wanting you to listen to. I'm happy to listen to those emotions in terms of validating that they are there and that something of the past is still easily kind of niggled. And that's true of all of us. It's just a human thing. But when we really connect to what I would call the emotions of now, our emotions actually allow us to navigate life. So it's kind of recognizing, rather than delving into the emotional residue of the past. Let's say, if I give a hypothetical sort of experience, if someone comes along and they really press your buttons, they behave badly and they really get under your skin, this card says don't react emotionally to that. Listen to the emotions, because it's telling you something about that person. And actually, if you use the emotional energy in response to whatever has niggled and got under your skin, it's actually very empowering. Because if you listen to those emotions, they help you to decide an appropriate course of action. So rather than being reactive, we become responsive. So if somebody really presses your buttons and you're aware of it, not only can you trace it back to where it came from and know that there's some healing that needs to be done, but if you really center yourself in compassion, you view everything through the eyes of love. I'm going to take us to this next card. If you view everything through the eyes of love, including other people who behave badly sometimes, or any situation that niggles you, causes you distress, the distress is there because it enables us to learn, to grow, to make sure that we ourselves don't engage in repeating anything, to make sure that we take right action in response to whatever's happening. So emotions can be very empowering, providing we kind of listen to them in a present kind of way. Even if they're connecting backwards, our ability to listen to them in the presence allows us to walk a far more empowered path. We walk the path of the warrior. The card of love, new confidence, love in all forms. Open your heart, allow yourself to heal. If you've withdrawn in any way, shape or form from relationship or within relationship because you've been hurt, there's opportunity to heal this here. reach out to the people who love you. I think new people are coming into your world, or relationships that are existing are going to kind of upgrade a bit. But it does suggest new people coming into your world. New love. This is a wonderful card. It's like you fall in love with life again and your own inner energy. Again, think of this Rune of Joy. It's like illumination from within. I want to say, guys, you've done the work to get to here. I know, going back to the impact of Saturn on Sagittarius a couple of years ago, there's been a lot of stuff to process from that period. There are a lot of harsh, difficult, challenging lessons to come through and understand. And this, for me, feels like this genuine emergence from all of that. It's like that gets put to rest. It reaches a conclusion in some way. Completion of beginnings. The 10 of water, universal love, divine connection, the empowerment that we sit in when we live our lives through understanding. It's also a card, again, that signifies beginnings and endings, the end of a phase in order to move to something new. I really do want to say new people coming into your world, potentially new love, or sometimes there can be a reunion as well. We have this card of choice. This is the equivalent of the Fool in many of the sort of more standard tarot packs. Options, opportunities, be mindful of your past. Don't let it dictate to you. Free yourself of the past. Identify if in any way past patterns or past attitudes, emotional scar tissue, that kind of stuff is present. It allows you to free yourself of that and move forwards. You have this gorgeous snake of transformation carrying a torch. It's the torch of illumination. Very, very powerful card in terms of new opportunities, new beginnings. And again, such an opportunity to heal here. We then have the Ace of Water. Take a leap of faith, new love, follow passion's lead, this card says. Let go and just trust. Take a risk. Allow yourself to fall in love, whether you are falling in love with a person, whether you are falling in love with life again, whether you are falling in love with your home, falling in love with your family, with your lifestyle, with your career or a new career path, whatever you are falling in love with, it's really like allowing love to literally flow through you. Stunning, stunning energy to this month for you guys. And yeah, very powerful time as we head into Sagittarius season and that wonderful new moon where there is opportunity to really focus on your values, your desires, your passions, but with a clarity. And the clarity comes because you heal something. At a core level, you get to put something down. And of course, as the moon, well, if we think of the astrological cycles, the moon in Scorpio before it then enters Sagittarius. If you think about the solar cycles, that source energy available, you're coming into, at the end of the month, Sagittarius season. It's like an injection of source energy. It's your new year. And in that space of newness, a whole new cycle begins. There is every opportunity while we are travelling through the Scorpio season to, this is 12th house stuff for us. This is 12th house stuff where any kind of past issues, any deep dark secrets, any taboos, any areas of stuff that we've have remained in our unconscious, they get to come to light, especially with the Mercury retrograde energy. This is like the embodiment of how to use the Mercury retrograde energy at its absolute best so that it works for you. You're working with that energy rather than against it. You're allowing things to surface, you're looking back, you are addressing them, you are healing, and you clear the space, literally. It's like that space within. You become a channel, literally, but a channel for life, and a channel for life where love flows through you, and you are able to see not only the past through the eyes of love, but also being centered in love in the present, you get to draw into you relationships of equality. Yeah, this is really beautiful. Relationships in which you can walk alongside somebody where both of your choices are honoured. Very powerful, guys. Very, very powerful indeed. So guys, I'm now going to draw from a second tarot pack, or in fact a third tarot pack. This is a tarot pack, it's just a slightly different one. And then we will draw from the Art of Manifestation cards as well. Oh, wow guys, cards are leaping out. But okay, so we have the card of art. This is a card of creativity. This is a card of centeredness, a card again of evaluation. Now there's a very clear message here that says, whatever happens that causes you to, it's like, I feel as though actually I'm going to say what I really hear is, whatever is going on, I don't think it's new to you. It's simply that something happens that causes you to have to be responsive to something that has been rather plaguing you or causing you difficulty for quite a while. It's kind of almost like those inner demons, that part of ourselves that we manage. And there comes a point in all of our lives when the things that aspects of ourselves that we manage, they actually really require a proper healing. I don't think that ever stops, if I'm honest. I think we travel through life and that's part of our soul's evolution on the pathway of the human experience. It's why we come here, I think, for our sort of energetic resonance to be raised to higher levels of consciousness through experience. There is opportunity here to gain clarity, but remain centered, guys. Really allow yourselves to approach every situation through the eyes of love and with the potential to think about it creatively. Don't get bogged down emotionally. As I said, we create a division or a difference between emotions that are to do with emotional scar tissue and emotions that are present and real and giving you guidance. We then have the card of the Aeon. These are two very powerful cards of the self, ultimately, again connecting into the warrior. I do feel as though we need to know that the universe has the upper hand, know that the universe brings us what we need, not necessarily what we want, but that from those situations we can always learn. The Aeon, again, creativity, self-evaluation. This is like you are actually really ready to see so clearly in terms of any aspect that you have unwittingly bought into or colluded with or been drawn into. That's what I'm also hearing. It's something to do with something that niggles you, something that's pressed your buttons. It's something that's gone on for a long time. You've managed it. Fair enough, that's marvellous, we do. But there's time to put something to rest in a really big, proper healing way, and a situation occurs that allows you to do that. The key here, again, it's your, and this is so Sagittarius, it's your honesty, the integrity, that sense of justice. It's such a big Sagittarian thing. And these values are so profound, as is your freedom, your liberation, your right to make your own choices. It's somehow those values, you know, saying how it is, but it's like we get to say how it is to ourselves. So whatever the circumstances are, my goodness me, guys, you're standing in a position of strength through honesty, owning your own vulnerability. And I do think you get to reach out for support. Guys, we have the Death card. The, again, wonderful, wonderful energy of renewal, rebirth. New relationship. You know, guys, for some of you, I really think there is a letting go of things that may have inhibited you from sort of drawing into your world somebody who would meet you on equal terms. But I think that shifts this month, guys. If you are in a relationship, I think it ups its game. In some way you start to stand in your own truth from a greater position of compassion. That's what I'm really hearing. It's like we can stand in our own truth, but we can also recognise that we have to allow others to be on their own journey. We can't fix them, we can only work on ourselves. You know, sometimes we get very bound up in the emotionality of other people's issues because they're not necessarily investing in a level of growth or change that we would like to see. It's not our pathway. We can't do that. And so actually we have to step away, look at whether or not we've been feeding the situation in any way. And once we gain that level of insight and understanding, we're completely free of any ties to it. It's magical, really magical. And we have the card of the Lovers. Conscious relationships, relationships of, I am going to say freedom and liberation. Relationships of choice, new love sometimes. But wow, guys, so relationship orientated. I am going to say, for those of you that are seeking to draw into you, to manifest a relationship at a level of soul, I would say absolutely this month. It's really interesting, the warrior rune sometimes says, you know, if you're doing a personal reading, for example, and you draw the warrior rune, if you had a question about relationship, it would say that this relationship is timely and providential. You are coming together with purpose. And I'd even say coming together, I'd like to say potentially it's almost, for those of you that are, I guess you wouldn't be looking at this reading if you weren't spiritually orientated, it's almost like a soulmate reunion. Someone who you have walked the pathway with before, and there's a coming together with purpose, with intent, some aspect of your, it's like an arrangement you've made in a previous life to come back together with purpose, with love. Actually, to influence a situation, to influence one another, to bring about a healing. And it is a healing that radiates out, and relationships of higher consciousness actually radiate out into the world, and they really impact on all parties that we come into contact with. There's something really very powerful about the aspect of relationship in this reading. It does feel like a reunion of souls. That's really all that I can voice here. I'm not sure where this happens. You may meet them through your friends, or it may even be a friend. Or, as I said, it could be a rekindling of an existing relationship. But it does reignite your passion, your fire. They are very much alive, actually, whoever they are. I know that's a weird thing to say, but, you know, actually sometimes we meet people who are living, but they're kind of surviving rather than living. And this is somebody who's actually quite centered, that their energy is good, that they're very empowered. Guys, we're going to draw from the Art of Manifestation cards just before we kind of wind up this reading. It's been a joy to do this, a real privilege. Thank you guys for joining me for this. We have the card of synchronicity. The Art of Manifestation cards have very clear messages, so I'll read the message to you. We have the card of synchronicity. Are seemingly random coincidences showing up in your life? This card asks you to listen to the signs and take them seriously. I love that that sits here in these cards of self-evaluation, and this card that says the Knight of Swords, something's going to happen to cause you to have to respond. So back to this. This card asks you to listen to the signs and take them seriously. You are tuning into the universal energy of a greater collective consciousness, and these synchronicities are arriving in your world to guide you. Listen. Very powerful card, guys. We then have a card, Have Your Voice. Wow, guys. You are being asked to be clear, be upfront. This is very Sagittarius, but again, I'm going to say, whilst walking through a pathway of love, looking at life through the eyes of compassion, through the eyes of grace, I would venture to say. Is there something that you need to say? An inability to speak out can leave us with feelings of hurt and resentment, which then create a kind of internal energetic roadblock. Voice your feelings to yourself or write them down. It is time to release the past. Right, okay, I understand completely the energy of this card. Going back to whatever it is that you're needing to let go of, something comes to light, presses your buttons, causes you to have an opportunity to let go of it. Release the past. I think it goes back to experiences when you didn't have a voice. You needed to, but you couldn't find your voice for whatever reason, or maybe somebody else wasn't open to listening to you, or it wasn't safe to speak. But one way or the other, guys, have your voice. I mean, it might be a time to write one of those not to send letters, but one way or the other, you need to validate your own voice. This isn't about validation or seeking validation from others. It's about giving it to yourself. And then we have a final card, believe in yourself. This is the leaping into the unknown, guys. This is leaping into new relationships where our insecurities are raised, or dealing with our insecurities within an existing relationship, which raises them to a higher level. Having a voice, being vulnerable. You know, there's a lot of strength in vulnerability because that's the honesty. You are important, you are lovable, you are special, you are a unique and extraordinary person. Wherever you've come from and whatever has happened to you in the past, it is time to let go of any negative perceptions that you may carry about yourself. This is the part that you get to let go of, guys. It's the part that frees you for an entirely new beginning. This is a magical reading. I'm loving every second of it. I know I'm going to come back to it for myself as well. Guys, so much love to you. Thank you for joining me for the reading. Do check in with some of the other readings that I do. I put some up every week, usually on a Sunday, for weekly guidance and direction. And yeah, do please subscribe if you'd like to get notification of any of the readings that I do as I post them. You also need to press the little bell icon if you want to receive those notifications. Guys, so much love to you, and really looking forward to Sagittarius season as we move into December. So I guess I will see you guys then. So much love, guys.